Forest, using and protecting them. Forest. It is a place where we can find raw materials like timber, bamboo or beedi leaves, honey, lac, herbs, etc. People collect the fruits, tubers, and other products and sell them in the market. Some use the forest to graze their animals. Features of forest: a large tract stretching several kilometers in length and breadth, a tree cover and undergrowth, bushes, plants, grasses and creepers which grow with little interference from human beings, considerable biodiversity, where many kinds of plants and animals live and breed naturally without interference. In India, at least, most forests are inhabited by people who have been living in them by adapting themselves to the condition of forest but without changing too much. People living around the forest use them for a variety of purposes for food, wood, fuel, grazing animals, etc. Types of forest. Some trees like pine will grow in very cold climates which also have snowfall. Some trees like teak grow in regions of moderate rain and warm temperature. The density of the trees will also depend upon the nature of rainfall and temperature. Evergreen forest. Regions which get very high rainfall and also have a very warm climate in equatorial regions are called evergreen forest. Example: jamun, canes, bamboos, kadam, etc. In Himalayas, pine forest remains green throughout the year. Trees do not bear flowers but produce cones and hence are called coniferous trees. Trees have needle-like leaves which do not allow the snow to rest on them. Deciduous forest. Forests grow in regions where it rains in only some months and is warm and during most of the year. Water evaporates through the leaves and the trees try to conserve moisture by getting rid of the leaves during the dry months. Example: Vegi, Agesa, Madi, Bandaru, Gitigi, etc. Forests are found in Srikakulam and Vishakhapatnam. In areas with less rainfall, we have trees like Madi, teak, velaga, yapi, chiguru, moduga, etc. Srikakulam forest. Thorny forest. These forests grow in very dry areas with little rainfall and high temperature. Example: Babul, Bulusurega, etc. Located in YSR Kadapa, Chittoor, Anantapur and Nalgonda district. Thorny trees have very tiny leaves and thorns which help to conserve water. Littoral forest, seacoast and swamp forest. These grow mostly in the seacoast, on sandy beach and marshy lands and on lands affected by tidal waves. These are also called as mangrove forests. Example: Uppuponna, Boduponna, Vrudamada, Telimada, Kadili and Bela. Status of forests in Andhra Pradesh is about 64,000 square kilometers of the state are declared as forest by the government. Every year, about 100 square kilometers of forest are lost in the state. Tribal people and forest. Forests provide the critical resource for the very poor in our state to make a living. In Rayalaseema districts, most people depend upon the forest for grazing sheep and goats. In contrast, nearly 75% people in Telangana collect minor forest produce called non-timber forest produce or NTFP. For thousands of years, protected them and earned their livelihood from them. Even today, more than 60% of the forests of Andhra Pradesh are in areas where tribal people live. During the last 200 years after the establishment of the British rule in our country, the tribal people gradually lost their control and right over the forest. They made laws in 1864 and 1878 to create the Forest Department, which was given control over the forest. In the northern districts of Telangana, the Gonds cultivated settled agriculture while the Kolams, etc., practiced Padu cultivation on the hill slopes. The Forest Department had the responsibility of managing the harvesting of the forest.
The family also cultivates garden crops like chilies, tobacco, and vegetables in a small piece of land near the village. Women and children collect minor forest produce of various types, such as edible and herbal roots, tubers and creepers, leaves, and fruits. The Samantas sell most of these products at the weekly shandies and buy commodities like kerosene, oil, salt, ornaments, and clothing. Traditionally, the shandies have provided the people with an opportunity to barter their surplus produce. The distribution system earlier was limited to the tribal communities in the shandies of this area. But today, these marketplaces have become the centers for commercial exploitation of the tribals by the traders from the plains. The tribal sellers are always found to be the losers in the market economy owing to their innocence and illiteracy.
The changes in 1988 to 90. The National Forest Policy 1988 declared that the primary task should be to associate the tribal people in the protection, regeneration, and development of forests. In Andhra Pradesh, this program was renamed as Community Forest Management (CFM) program. It actually means that the Forest Department and local communities will collaborate in regenerating degraded forests, planting trees. The communities were allowed to use the grass and other minor forest produce. Forest Right Act 2006. After prolonged debate, the Parliament passed the Forest Rights Act in 2006. For the first time, it was accepted that during last 200 years gross injustice had been to conserve the forest and at the same time ensuring the livelihood and food security of dwellers. The forest rights on ancestral lands and their habit were not adequately recognized during the colonial period as well as in independent India. It has become necessary to address the long standing insecurity of land rights and access rights of forest dwellers.